My husband and I dated for 2 years before tying the knot. Everything seemed perfectly aligned. We had similar goals, shared values, and despite our occasional differences, we made it work. One thing I never questioned was trust. That is, until Harley happened. Harley has been in his friend group forever. She's the kind of woman who turns heads when she enters a room. Tall, confident, and drop-dead gorgeous. I'd never thought much of her before. She was around occasionally, friendly but distant. Older than me by a few years, unmarried, always the enigma in the circle. My husband insisted they had history, but nothing to worry about. Then came our small celebration. A housewarming/wedding catch-up, just close friends and drinks. As the evening settled and groups splintered off into separate rooms, the women gathered in my bedroom. Wine flowed, laughter echoed, and the conversation turned casual. Harley was charming, almost too charming. She complimented my decor, asked how I was adjusting to married life, and joked about how my husband must be driving me crazy already. I smiled and nodded, brushing it off, until her tone shifted subtly. "You know," she said with a mischievous glint in her eyes, "he used to be so wild in his 20s, not like now." I raised an eyebrow. "Really? He doesn't talk much about those days." "Oh, girl," she said, giggling, already pulling out her phone. "You need to see this." Before I could say anything, she had scrolled down to an album titled Primetime. Oh, my stomach twisted. The screen was flooded with photos of him, my husband, but not the man I knew in homey t-shirts and slippers, groaning about long work hours and doing meal prep on Sundays. These pictures showed a version of him I'd never seen, shirtless at the beach, tanned and glowing, beer in hand, laughing in the sun. But it wasn't the photos alone that hit me. It was her in them. Every picture, him and Harley, lounging together, holding hands, kissing, whispering. "I can't believe you still have these," I said, my voice a little too sharp, trying to keep calm. She laughed lightly. "Oh, come on, it's not like I framed them or anything." "But he was hot back then, right? Total peak. I mean," she leaned closer. "Barcelona, twice. Can you imagine?" I blinked. "Wait, Barcelona?" "Mm-hmm," she smirked. "Both trips were magical, especially the second one. That hotel bathtub," she winked. "Memories." My jaw locked. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Barcelona had been on my bucket list forever. A few months into dating, I'd suggested we go together. He dismissed it without a second thought. "That place is overrated and boring," he had said. Nothing to see there. But now I was staring at videos of him dancing down Las Ramblas with her, posing at Park Güell, laughing in a restaurant that I had dreamed of dining at with him. He looked happy, carefree. Harley looked up from her phone, seeing the color drain from my face. "Oh no, don't get all weird on me. It's just the past, you know?" I forced a smile. "Yeah, the past." But I couldn't shake the chill that crept up my spine. That night, and I stood in the kitchen loading dishes, I turned to my husband. "Why'd you tell me Barcelona was boring?" He didn't look up. "Because it is." I didn't ask any more questions because we were at a party, and I didn't want to ruin his mood. Later in the night, somewhere between the third retelling of how Jisoo lost his passport in Thailand and that one guy's overacted story about a failed blind date, I just checked out. I was tired of sitting there like an outsider in my own home. So I quietly left the room. Maybe it was childish to feel annoyed, but I needed space. From the stories, from the forced laughter, and honestly, from pretending. Later that night, it was nearly 1 a.m. when I went back downstairs. Some of the guests were still there. One of the wives needed to breastfeed, so I offered her the guest bedroom for some privacy. As I turned to go back upstairs, I paused. From the slightly open door to the living room, I heard my name. "She's been living here for what, 4 years?" someone said, voice slightly slurred but loud. "Still feels like she doesn't belong. No offense." That froze me. "She's Indonesian, right?" another guy chimed in. "Man, I remember how pissed off his parents were when he told them about her." I clutched the banister. They knew how hard that period was for me. The calls, the fights, the tears. His parents called me names I wouldn't repeat, and it had taken months for them to even agree to meet me. "I mean, he could have married anyone," a voice laughed. "Remember all the blind dates? That girl from Busan? She was stunning." "Oh yeah, the tall one with the dimples?" someone added. "Honestly, bro, I was shocked when you chose her." They all laughed. Loud, unfiltered, alcohol-fueled laughter. Then someone dropped the bomb. Dude, not to be rude, but she's not exactly a looker. You downgraded so hard. I mean, another voice. A woman's this time. You remember how I tried to set him up with Ji-yoon? Everyone said they looked perfect together. And he picked her? She said it like my name was a mistake. There was a beat of silence, and then I heard my husband's voice. I hoped, prayed, he would defend me. Instead, he laughed. Yeah, I guess she's not a 10. But hey, I married her, didn't I? I felt like the air had been sucked out of the hallway. Someone whistled. Man, you're savage. She might be ugly, he added, but she makes great nasi goreng. The room roared with laughter. I walked away before I could hear anything else. My hands were trembling. My legs felt like they were moving on their own. I didn't even know where I was going. Just away. Away from the laughter, away from the voices, away from him. This man, the one who once stood in the pouring rain outside my hostel because he didn't want me to walk home alone. The same man who held me through my worst panic attacks when I thought his parents would never accept me. The one who wrapped me in woolen gloves and tucked heat packs into my pockets the first time I faced a Korean winter. That same man had just laughed. Laughed. With his friends as they called me ugly. And then he said it too, with his own mouth. She might be ugly, but I married her. Like I was some act of charity. Like I was a consolation prize. I didn't cry right away. I was too numb. I walked up the stairs, one shaky foot at a time, like my body didn't fully belong to me anymore. I locked the bathroom door behind me, turned the shower on full blast, and stood under the scalding stream until my skin burned. But the heat didn't wash anything away. The humiliation clung to me, thick, heavy, and impossible to scrub off. I pressed my forehead against the tile wall and let the sobs come, silent and breathless. My chest heaved, my stomach twisted, and still, I didn't make a sound. I didn't want him to hear. I didn't want anyone to hear what they had done to me. After what felt like hours, I climbed into bed, still damp, hair clinging to my neck, and faced the wall. I heard them laughing downstairs, bottles clinking, footsteps echoing. I waited. And when the front door finally closed and I heard him come up, I kept my back turned. He crawled into bed next to me, reeking of alcohol and whatever cologne he had worn to impress his friends. He didn't say a word, not even a good night. No kiss, no checking if I was okay. Nothing. And I just lay there, heart pounding, eyes wide open in the dark. The next morning, the house was quiet. Everyone had left. The chaos was over, but the storm inside me hadn't passed. I stood in the kitchen, still in my oversized hoodie, staring blankly at the kettle. I didn't know whether I wanted tea or to smash it into pieces. That's when he walked in, hair messy, eyes half shut, and slumped back into bed like he hadn't just ripped a hole through my heart 10 hours ago. No apology, no mention, not even a hint of guilt. And I stood there, frozen in the hallway, watching him sleep like nothing happened. Like I hadn't stood behind that door, listening to him laugh as his friends said, "You could have done way better. And man, you downgraded so hard." Like I hadn't heard the girl who tried to set him up with someone else say, "I can't believe he picked her." Like I was a clearance sale bride. Like he hadn't said, with his own mouth, "She might be ugly, but I married her." As if that somehow justified all of it. That moment right there, that silence, that total lack of acknowledgement, it hurt more than the words. When I came downstairs today, groggy and drained, I saw them in the living room. She was sipping coffee, her makeup fresh even after the night, her outfit effortlessly expensive. He was crouched beside her suitcase, tucking in a neatly packed box of traditional sweets. "I remembered you love these for road trips," he said, with a softness I hadn't heard directed at me in a long time. She laughed, brushing her hair behind her ear, and thanked him with a familiarity that made my stomach twist. Then he hugged her. Not a polite side hug. A warm, long one. The kind of hug that says, "I remember everything about you." I just stood there, invisible. And the worst part? I wasn't even surprised. Just hollow. Later, when she was gone and the silence returned, I found myself scrolling through old photos, pictures from years ago. Their years. He looked so different. Younger, Yes, but not just physically. He looked lighter, carefree in a way I've never seen in the years I've known him. No lines near his eyes, no heaviness in his smile. Just a boy in love, arms around a girl who wasn't me. She looked perfect. Glowing skin, expensive clothes, natural elegance. Her smile didn't need filters. And standing beside her, he looked like he belonged. I shouldn't have done it, but I kept scrolling. Picture after picture. Her resting her head on his shoulder. Him surprising her with gifts. And one particular post, one that made my chest ache, was a caption that read, "Another bouquet without roses, just how we like it. Books and coffee over red petals any day." That's when I broke. Because I remember telling him that. I remember saying I wanted a bouquet of books one birthday, something thoughtful, something personal. And he told me, "That's not really my thing. I'll get you something better." But he never did. He never gave me books, never tried the bouquet idea, never surprised me like that. But for her, it was a routine, a tradition. I feel pathetic, comparing like this. Jealous of a past I can't erase. But I can't stop myself. How do you not feel insecure when the man you love once adored someone, so completely, in all the ways you silently wished he would adore you? Final update. After days of feeling like I was drowning in silence and second-guessing my worth, I finally opened up to my friends. I told them everything, every cruel word, every lingering stare, every moment I felt invisible in my own marriage. And you know what? They didn't just listen. They showed up. Without hesitation, they urged me to make plans with them, to Barcelona. The idea was spontaneous, maybe even reckless, but it felt like exactly what I needed. Air, distance, and the reminder that my world is so much bigger than a man who couldn't defend me when I needed him most. We went shopping that afternoon, laughing over outfits and planning which cafes we'd visit. For the first time in days, I wasn't trapped in the loop of what-ifs and why-not-me's. I was just me. And I felt lighter. I've been staying at one of my friends' places for now. It's peaceful. Safe. There's no pressure to smile when I don't feel like it. And meanwhile, my phone hasn't stopped buzzing. Calls and texts from my husband that I've mostly ignored. I did send him a message, though. I told him I wasn't happy with the company he kept. I told him exactly what his friend did. How he showed me pictures. How casually they talked about her. How comfortable they all seemed belittling me in my own home. I reminded him of what he said that night. How he admitted, while drunk and laughing, that I was ugly. His response? He said he didn't mean it, that they were drunk, that it's just their culture to comment on appearances and not take it seriously, that I was overthinking. Then came the usual parade of cheesy lines, the ones he must have rehearsed like a bad actor in a movie, how I'm really beautiful to him, how he wants to make it right, how he'll talk to his friends and ask them to apologize. But you can't unhear something once it's been said. And apologies don't work like whiteout. You can't just erase the stain and pretend the page was never torn. I told him if he still had feelings for her, I'd rather walk away than live in her shadow. He insisted it was just a fling, and that there was a reason they broke up. He told me I'm the one he wants to build a life with, the one he wants to have kids with. But now, that phrase doesn't land the same. It doesn't feel like love. It feels like utility. Like I'm just a vessel to complete his picture-perfect family setup while he holds on to nostalgia for someone else. So I'm doing something for me. Now, I've started looking for a lawyer. My brother, after hearing everything, was livid. He's offered to help me in every way he can. I have a place of my own, one I might move into after I get back from the trip. It's not lavish, but it's mine. My space, my freedom. My husband is still calling, still texting, despite me telling him to stop. He hasn't respected even that boundary. But I'm done begging for grace. I'm done waiting for respect I should have always had. I haven't blocked him yet. Part of me wants him to see what he's losing. Let him watch me travel, smile, dance, laugh, and rediscover who I am without the weight of his shadow. My friends say I should let him see me, living my best life, and I think they're right. I don't know exactly where I'm heading, but I know I'm walking away from what broke me. Barcelona awaits, and maybe clarity does too. This isn't the end of my story. It's just the start of a new chapter, written by me, for me. And this time, I'm not asking for permission to be happy.